Wayne over at the Ram Man Inc. Today we're going to talk about master cylinders and specifically them leaking. Right here we've got 222-9171 1-inch bore, one of the rarest and most desirable master cylinders on the planet, especially in the Mopar world. And we redid this for a customer. We did a complete rebuild on it. Of course, we always brass sleeve everything and put in new guts, and much like this right here. You can see this is one of our pistons right here. These are obsolete and you can't get them anymore, so we make them, and of course with the cups. So once you sleeve something and bring it back to a beautiful bore like this with brand new pistons and brand new cups or whatever, the likelihood of this leaking is basically non-existent. We brought everything back to specs, actually better than specs, so it's a little tighter. And so it seals really, really well. And so what you have to remember, as this piston's moving forward, these cups are designed, the back pressure on here folds the lips out and forces them to seal up even better. This gentleman put this on his 70E body, and he said that it started leaking down the back and a little dribble down the booster, which we saw. He sent us a very good picture. So I told him to send it in and let's check it out. And I believe we're going to find out what we often see. So this master cylinder came in, and it's been filled up with fluid for 2 weeks. And we can obviously see, it's very obvious, that the master cylinder has not leaked at all. Now, what can we determine from this? We've got to keep it simple. Number one, there is no problem with the bore or any problem with the piston or the wiper seal. If there was a problem with either one, a problem here, a problem here, or a problem here, this thing would leak. Period. The end of story. So, why did it leak? I'll tell you why it leaked. We've got to remember something about master cylinders. These things push out fluid, and then the fluid comes back on the return. Pushes out fluid, it's under pressure, pistons come back, you take your foot off, and this fluid returns. All the fluid in here, this nice pretty new fluid, it gets a chance to get all mixed up in the blender with every single thing that's in that hydraulic line. That's why when you fill up a master cylinder with your beautiful new fluid when you put it on, and after a little bit it's all dirty and all gray and contaminated, that's because it's mixed and regurgitated with every single thing in the system. And so, often you bring back debris with it. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're talking about a machine surface, especially a high quality machine surface like this, we're not talking about some OEM junk. We're talking about first class with some first class seals. The only thing that is going to make a new redone one leak is some obstruction underneath the seal. That's the only thing that can do that. And that happens when you put that master cylinder on, that restored car, and it mixes up with whatever's in that braking system. Even people that have replaced everything, they haven't replaced the Y block over the rear end or this and that. And you have to remember something. All it takes is a little grain of sand, a little bitty tiny something, little bitty tiny anything to make that wiper leak. So, once again, 2 weeks, no leak. So, let's find out what's going on. Let's just put a couple pumps under it. See, we've got these bleeders capped off. I just wanted to put it underneath some pressure and see if it leaked. what we'll see, my friends, oftentimes, and we noticed this years ago, when we do one of these first class, high quality rebuilds or whatever, and we send it back to the customer, about 5 to 10% of the time, they will call us back. This is just after decades of learning. They'd call us back and we'd say, hey, we've got a little leak going on and blah, blah, blah. Back in the early days, we weren't quite sure what was going on, but as time developed, we found out that it's bringing back debris and getting underneath the wiper seal. Now, there's two things that you can do. Normally, it will go away. It gets dislodged, passed on through the system, and it will go away. Another thing you can do is you can dismount the master cylinder and you can do a bench bleed, but instead of using brake fluid, you're just using rubbing alcohol. Alcohol is the only thing that is safe with the brake fluid and the factory cups and seals, because some of them were natural rubber. Can't use any petroleum product. That's an absolute no-no. And if you flush the bad boy, typically it won't be leaking anymore. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install some real lines, and we're going to check the flow on this bad boy. We're going to see if we can make it leak. Now, has it started leaking there, Skip, yet?
Nope.
It's not leaking, has it?
Nope.
Nope. I think what he did was he got this thing flushed out. We told him to check that out before he sent it to us. So we're hooking this up with some real lines so that they fit down on the flares and they don't leak whatsoever. We better find us a wrench. Oh, there's one. Snug it on down. Nothing like doing a good old bench bleed to get the air out. And seeing is believing for me. I always wanted to see something. I want to see how good the pistons are pumping, how good the flow is. Is it constant? Is it a lot? Nice long stroke. See that air's coming out. Nice long strokes. There you go. All the air's out. You'll notice that riser in that front port. That means that return ports are working. So there we go. So all the air's out. Let's see what we've got. That's nice, good flow. Let's check out these front brakes. Remember, the big chambers, the front brakes for the discs. Pumps more fluid. Nice, steady stream. Nice and steady. Now, that's that doggone brake fluid from the dang tool. Can you see down in there? Is it bright enough?
Yep.
I don't really see any fluid, do you?
Nope.
Ah, there's a little bit building up right there on the return stroke. See that right there?
Yep.
There it is. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to yank these pistons, this rear piston, and we're going to check it out and recup it. So, there you go, my friends. There's a little history about what we found and what we've determined and what you can do to fix the problem. All right? So we're going to pull this piston and check it out for our client. God bless you. God bless America. And happy Moparing.